everything might be changing. Because in the middle of a dusty mine in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, researchers have found something pretty wild. It's not a burning bush, it's not a stone tablet, it's actually a name carved into rock, into what could be one of the earliest known alphabetic scripts. And the name? Moshe, as in Moses.
My first instinct was, well, this is probably nonsense. And then I asked Dr. Falk, and Dr. Falk was like, it's worse than you thought.
No, scholars have not found evidence for Moses.
Dr. Thomas Schneider, he called this claim completely unproven and misleading. But what you need to know is that this isn't some crackpot internet theory. The team used 3D
Yes,
laser.
it is. It's a crackpot internet theory.
Edition. And with all that new tech, Bahran says that he spotted a very specific set of symbols, what he translates as ZTMMS. Now, that might sound like just a bunch of random letters, but in ancient Semitic languages, that would actually be read as Zot Im Moshe, which means this is from Moses.
We've known about these inscriptions since 1905, so
Yes.
120 years. And different scholars have published various translations of these, and maybe they think it says this or they think it says this, and here is the inscriptions. But among those multiple peer-reviewed translations
Correct.
from multiple legitimate scholars for the past 120 years, nobody has ever claimed that the letters are letters,
Correct.
and nobody has ever claimed that A, they're not letters, and B, that they're claiming that this is now
Proof of Moses.
proof of Moses.
This is one of two inscriptions that Bahran claims to have the name Moses on it. There are a couple of marks on the stone that might have been letters, but we're not sure. The Zion, the Z there, has a couple of vertical, seems to be a couple of very small vertical or horizontal lines. Okay. That Tav, the next character 2, is sort of a half. There's a mark there, there's a stroke going down, and then a stroke to the right. The one to the left is debatable. So we're not quite sure if that is a Tav. That one's debated. Okay. The next 3 does not appear on any of the high-res scans, any of the squeezes or the casts. None of that. There's no evidence that those other 3 characters exist.
The 3 bottom pink ones here, is that what you mean?
The 2 names and the sheen.
And yeah, you can see, as you said, we zoomed in, there's that circle, there's that squiggle there. I don't see the inscription that's supposed to be here that we just saw in pink. Where's that pink inscription?
Yeah, it's not there.
So let's go back. As you can see, we just zoomed in on it without these pink lines. This just, folks, that's not there. I'm sorry. That's not there.
Now it's pareidolia.
It's pareidolia. You're seeing random shapes and objects that are just not
Puppies
there.
and clouds.
Puppies and clouds, shapes.
Moses and rock. Force a Hebrew reading into it, even if it makes no sense at all. Now you can see from he has to add a lot of extra words in square brackets here to try to make it make any sense at all.
It doesn't even make sense with what he's adding in the brackets, to be honest. I have
no
idea what's happening here. Yeah. This sounds like something this sounds like code, CIA agents would say in a bar in Morocco. I wrote out in the press garden. Oh, who is the father in regards to your manna? And then they pass a notebook. That's what this sounds like.
And you wouldn't be far off. All right, there's the high-res image, and then we got that first register of text there, and clearly you can see a sheen on the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me zoom back out for you folks. There we go. Holy crap. What even? There's nothing. He's just making This is not a thing. This is not what this says.
Now, Register 7. Register 7 there is supposed to read
right here.
Nub Moshe, an oracle of Moses. All right. So those Register 7. So see that blue 7?
Mm-hmm. The blue 7's right there. Yeah.
There's a snaky thing, and then a cow head, and then 2 water names, and then a sheen that sort of runs off the edge. Go back to now what I just to my image. That's the area where that Neum Moses Neum Moshe is supposed to be.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. It is nothing there.
It's supposed to be down here.
Yeah, it's supposed to be down there.
Nothing is there.
There's nothing there.
I'm not even sure if this inscription makes sense.
It doesn't make sense.
The God, O King, the Godfather of, which he adds, the Baalat, destroy them and be avenged of the Baalat, in that you came apparently to the temple of Baalat. Be ashamed, let us depart. Like, was Moses drunk? Just like, God, the King, you destroy them and be avenged.
And then, really problematically, there's a timeline problem. Okay, Sinai 357 dates to around 1800 BC, but most scholars actually place Moses in the 13th century BC, several hundred years later. Barron and his supporters argue that the standard biblical timeline might be off. But
for those who don't know, Michael S. Barron is a student of the infamous David Rohl.
And he believes in Rohl's new chronology.
Yeah. So when he says he found an inscription of Moses, he thinks it would date to around 1400 BC, which is when Rohl places the Exodus on his chronology.
Yes.
Now, why is that important? Because Rohl's chronology is absolute nonsense.
There's not one professional Egyptologist that accepts David Rohl's model.
Even if he was right, which he is clearly not, he's making things up. This is pareidolia. But the Moses name in Egyptian was common, like Ramesses, Tutmosis. Yeah. Like
it was very common.
It's very common. This could have been anybody. Like
even if anybody. Even if he's right, it could have been anybody. And the fact is that this is because this dates to the Middle Bronze Age. It can't be the same Moses as in the biblical narrative,
right?
Because there's no chariots in the Middle Bronze Age, at least not Dynasty 13.
Yeah, that's a huge problem for David Rohl's chronology and trying to say the Exodus happened in the Middle Kingdom, which is there were no chariot armies like what you get in the New Kingdom. Everything
there's no chariotry in Dynasty 13.